Hello everyone, welcome to the Williams Road to Glory. We're back for another episode, round number 6 of the season for the French Grand Prix, and we're approaching the halfway stage, which would be round number 8. A short 16 race season, guys, this year for the final ever season, and I'm looking forward to it. The last race at Canada went pretty well. If you guys haven't seen that one, then I'll leave that linked up in the top right, so go check it out. But yeah, we've had a pretty good run of it lately, and I'm hoping for more of the same. So we're going to see how it goes, and we're going to see if we can have a decent race. As always, guys, the support has been insane. I really am thankful for it. You know, it's been a lot of seasons, a lot of races of career mode on F1 2020 period, and you guys are still supporting the videos nowadays, so I really appreciate it. So yeah, let's do that again. Leave a like, subscribe for more on this episode, guys, and let's see what happens at Paul Ricard. Now we jump into the weather forecast, and this weekend we have a chance of rain in qualifying, so we'll keep an eye on that to see what happens. We move into the upgrades, and nothing for us this race. Mercedes bring yet another one as they pull even further ahead of the pack. And then in terms of our own upgrades, we do have a ultimate chassis upgrade that we're putting a lot of faith in to deliver a lot of performance, so fingers crossed that arrives and goes according to plan. Now we move into practice, and the Paul Ricard circuit I particularly don't mind. I think it's okay. It's kind of in the middle, not bad but not great. This weekend I feel like it's a tricky one for us because Paul Ricard is a track that doesn't seem to suit the Williams car that well, but I also myself do seem to be pretty quick around there, so a bit of a mix, and they kind of, you know, cancel each other out, and they counter themselves. So I think we should be okay pace wise, and also we're going to take a fresh batch of engine components this weekend, so that should give us a slight more edge in qualifying and the race. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting weekend. I think, you know, you guys know by now we've got a pretty healthy lead in the championship, so it's all about just managing it, and we don't have to win all the time, so just keep an eye on things, make sure, you know, things don't go wrong essentially. So in Q1, this was my first time lap of the session. I actually got a lovely tow courtesy of Valtteri Bottas. Thank you very much, Valtteri, and that's going to give us maybe a couple of tenths on the back straight. So a good way to start off the lap in Q1 as we cut towards the end of the lap now, and we're going to see what this lap is here, and will it be enough to see us move the Q2, keeping the car to the left for the shortest run to the line. And it's going to be a 25.5, and we go P4, so that is enough for us right now, and we didn't have to go out again. So P10 for us in Q1. George Russell scrapes through in P15, so kind of confirming that we maybe lack a little bit of one lap pace, as I mentioned at the start, but again, I'm making a difference because I'm pretty quick around here. So yeah, into Q2, I tried my luck on the mediums again, like we have done for the last few race weekends, but again, like the last few race weekends, the pace wasn't quite there yet on this tyre, so we're still lacking a little bit to really kind of, you know, be able to qualify in mediums. We go P12, last of the runners who have set a lap time, so we had to go back out again and on the soft tyre. I went out early in case, you know, something went wrong. I had another set of tyres available, so I could always abandon and go back into the pits and get another set on if necessary, as it started to get cloudy as well. But anyway, for the lap itself, into the first chicane, left right, doing a brake just before the 50, fifth gear corner, sacrifice the left slightly to open the right and really get that drive down towards turn 3. This time we've got a little right left chicane, important to be aggressive over the curbs. Then into turn 5, right hand hairpin, easy on the throttle out of here, very easy to spin the rears and lose the back end. Gradually apply the power through 6, flat out through 7, and now wait for the DRS. At this point, you take a bit of a breather as you prepare the brake zone for the back straight chicane. You're going to bring the car over to the right, brake as the tarmac appears on the curb, so kind of like a bit of a break in the curb. That's your reference. Fourth gear through here, use the brake to kind of trail brake mid-apex and rotate the car. Easy on the throttle on the exit to not get too much wheel spin, and then back on the throttle for another 10 seconds. We then approach the double right-hander here. Important to let the car run out wide and then bring it back in for a late apex. Easy on the curb exit, and then bring the car to the right hand side for this long left with the late apex. Really understeery, and the front end doesn't want to work through here because it's slightly off camber. Then the bottom corner, fifth gear down to fourth eventually for a bit of rotation, using a bit of inside curb to kind of help get that rotation. And then the final corner, easy on the exit, make sure you get nice smooth traction and then running up to the line. Currently 1.1 up, purple sector 1, and we go P4 and 2/10 of Hamilton's pace. We set a 25.0, therefore going about half a second quicker than our Q1 lap time, and with that we move into Q3. So a good lap actually. Car's working really well. This would end up being my fastest lap of the weekend because Q3 would be contested in the rain, and George Russell once again just scraping through there in P10, albeit he had a 10th in his pocket compared to Kvyat, but still P10 for George. And again, both cars in Q3, so great news. But Q3, as I mentioned, will be contested in the wet conditions, and the intermediates are on the car. Now, I went out quite late in the session, and the plan is to go for a 3-lap run. If the third lap is not going well, we'll box and get a set of inters on for a final lap. So that's the plan. We're going to see how it goes. This is the end of the first lap. As we run up to the line, this lap was always going to be quite poor because I was getting used to the conditions. We actually went P9, a long way off the pace. The second lap though, half a second up. This is much more like it and on the pace. And we're going to stay on board for the final and third lap. So here we go, down towards turn 1 again. In the wet, braking a little bit earlier as the little bit of tarmac appears on the curbing. Easy on the throttle out of here. We actually get a really nice exit as we're currently P5, heading into the little slow section now. Important to be aggressive. I didn't quite get that inside curb on the right-hander, but luckily it didn't cost us too much time. We get a really nice bit of drive out of here and find a full 10th of a second as we try to kick out onto the Mistral straight. And no, of course, no DRS in these conditions. So yeah, so far so good. 10th and a half-ish up. Purple first sector into the back straight chicane again, braking at the same point as in the dry, more or less. You can actually still kind of brake at a similar place. It doesn't really change too much because you're not stopping to a super slow speed. Easy on the throttle out of there. Make sure you don't spin the rears even more than the dry. Then this corner right here, senior, very tough, hard to take, not quite flat. Had to take a slight lift using the curb for rotation purposes. Then into the double right. I run a little bit wide just onto the blue paint, but we managed to pull it back on the exit and find a bit more time. And then this left-hander right here, very tricky, but we actually do a great job of getting the car down to the apex. Exit wasn't that great as we bring the car over onto the curb to really open up this left-hander. And then one more corner to go. Important to try and open up the line as much as you possibly can. Doing a double short shift on the exit from second all the way to fourth. And we get a nice smooth exit out of there as we run up to the line, and we're going to improve by 3.5 tenths and go P2. So there we go. That's going to be the end of 3 back-to-back fastest laps, and with our final one we get a 3rd place finish. So yeah, overall not too bad. I think the car actually delivered. We outperformed expectations. In the rain, it probably helped us deliver a slightly better result than I would have had in the dry. We just edged out Pierre Gasly, George Russell, P7 as well. So both cars in the top 7, considering it wasn't our strongest performance so far this weekend. That is definitely a great result. And yeah, both Mercedes out front basically on a 1-2. So yeah, Merc continued their 1 lap pace dominance, but still we are right in the race there in P3, and hopefully we can give them a few problems in the race and cause them a bit of trouble. Hamilton picks up an extra point in the rivalry, therefore wrapping it up, and he picks up the win. And because of that, and the fact we lost the rivalry, we are actually going to lose a bit of driver acclaim. So there you go. That's it for qualifying, guys. We're now going to move into the race, and we're going to see how we get on here for the French Grand Prix at Paul Ricard.
Hello and welcome to the circuit Paul Ricard, current home of the French Grand Prix, an event dating all the way back to 1906. It's been held at many venues over the years, with famous moments from Dijon and Manicourt the feature of many a highlights reel. And let's hope we see more of those in the race today. 6 lefts and 9 rights give us a total of 15 corners here at the circuit Paul Ricard, and a lap covers an overall distance of 3.6 miles. Average speeds will be somewhere in the region of 142 miles per hour, and they'll be maxing out on the Mistral straight at around 205 miles per hour. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Martinez, Gasly, Alexander Albon, and Ocon, Russell, Sainz, Perez, and Charles Leclerc, Kvyat, Norris, Daniel Ricciardo, and Verstappen, Stroll, De Vries, Roman Grosjean, and Kevin Magnussen, Giovinazzi, and Nobuharu Matsushita. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
Okay, here we are then, guys. As always, we're on the grid at the French Grand Prix, joined by the best fans and also the birds outside. As always, we're starting in 3rd place behind the 2 Mercedes cars, and we have a big task on our hand. Can we try and, you know, beat them here today? They look pretty ominous. They look really, really fast. They have done all weekend long, so it's going to take something quite special, I feel, to really overturn it. But nonetheless, we're going to try and do, you know, the best job we possibly can. If not, worst case scenario, I'll happily take the P3 that we're starting in right now. Now, in terms of strategy, there's 2 options here for this race. So option number 1 is going to be a soft, medium, soft. Option 2 is going to be a soft to hard. So either a 2-stop or a 1-stop. Entirely depends on how the first stint goes and what the tyre life is like on the softs. So we'll kind of judge it on the fly, see what the Mercedes cars do as well. Fuel-wise, I'm running 0.8 extra, so just under an extra lap of fuel, and there's no rain expected on the forecast here today. So let's jump into it, and let's see if we can try and cause the Black Arrows a little bit of trouble here at Paul Ricard. Okay, here we go. We're going to go for the optimal revs method this time, unlike the last race. Lights out, away we go. Didn't really work. We actually got a good second phase though of the start. The first phase wasn't so great. Into turn 1, Ocon there around the outside. To his credit, that was a lovely move. I couldn't really do much about that. So Esteban makes the pass. We've got Albon coming through here. I'm trying not to use too much ERS. I'm saving it for the back straight as we barge Albon out of the way there. Hamilton leads. Bottas P2, Gasly up in the P3, and Ocon P4. So the 2 Frenchmen hungry to do well in their home races, and they've both had a flying start in this race so far. Looks like, yeah, P5 for us. Albon has fallen back a little bit. He's got Russell for company, so let's see if George can, again, similar to Canada, have a strong race and fight back through the field like we both did in that last one. But so far, I'm actually quite happy with this. Even though we lost 2 places, I can't really complain too much. You know, Gasly got an insane start, and Ocon made a lovely move. But look at the run we've got on Ocon here, though. We're absolutely flying, using the ERS here, draining the battery. We're going to go down the inside into the triple rights. We're going to try and get Ocon back, and we managed to pull it off. So there we go, up in the P4, and just 1 place shy off where we started as we recover that one back. So good stuff so far. Albon already over a second behind, so he's out of DRS range, so he's not a threat for now. Let's see if we can get Gasly back now in short order and then go after those Mercedes cars. But most importantly, the target for now is to try and stay within a full second before DRS gets enabled on the next lap. I absolutely nailed that chicane. We're going to be pretty close to Gasly here. I was thinking about the same move as Ocon, but the Red Bull seems a smidge quicker on the straight, so we'll hand back for now. The Mercedes car is starting to pull a bit of a gap. Bottas putting some pressure on Hamilton here. But let's see if we can get Pierre and line him up for the pass with DRS. Okay, we set the fastest lap as well, so kind of verifying that we do have some pace right now, and this is good. This is the fastest we've been all weekend. As always, as is tradition, it seems like the race pace is stronger than the 1 lap pace. So let's see if we can make that count as we look to get past Gasly. I'm going to stay on board for a second here, see if we can line up this section. So far it's not been a great first sector, I will admit. 3/10 off my previous lap. But we will have the DRS on Pierre, and I don't think Pierre will have it on the Mercedes. No, he just held on, so we're going to have to wait a little bit longer here. I think this could be the one. We're a lot closer this lap to Pierre. Just got to make sure I nail this right-hander and get the traction out of here, which I do. Not as great as I would have liked, but still good enough. And now with DRS, this should be a pretty straightforward move. Here we go. Gaining now that straight line speed starting to come through.
Some information on Russell. They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
That's a shame.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
So George issues with his car.
Copy that.
So we're being suggested the 1-stopper by the team. And that's what they're recommending, which is my second option that I had planned. Meanwhile, Hamilton and Bottas nose to tail here. This is good for us. We are in this race. We can win this for sure. the famous saying, but if we play our cards right, you never know. Okay, that's interesting. Gasly's gone very early into the pit lane. I thought I heard a car go off behind me. So Gasly going for the very early stop and the aggressive two-stop strategy. Mercedes still yet to blink, which indicates a possible one-stop to me, so they could be on the same strategy as us. I'm struggling to just get within a second of Bottas ahead of us. So yeah, we'll see if I can try maybe close in once the tyre wear starts to kick in, but for now I'm just not quite able to close the gap enough, unless they maybe battle. Ooh, okay, Hamilton pits. Right, so Mercedes are going to blink. They're going to cover off Gasly, I'm guessing. But that could still be two-stop territory, so this is now we're going to get a bit of a strategy difference in this race, which could be interesting. And I'm expecting Bottas in this lap. And there goes Bottas into the pits. So we're going to take the lead. I'm going to pit lap 9 for the hard tyre and commit to this one-stop strategy. So let's see how that goes. So we take the lead in the French Grand Prix here today. Rear tyres overheating. Not good. Going to have to just rein it in a little bit for these last few corners. Left rear at 106 degrees, which is pretty high to be fair. You can see there my right rear is 104. I'm trying to get those temperatures under control. We're going to pit this lap though anyway. Let's try and nurse it if we can for this lap. Here we go. Box. Onto a set of the hard tyres we're going to go. And fingers crossed we maybe find a bit of space on track, a little pocket to rejoin into. Keep it within the white lines, get it all slowed down. Nice. Going for first gear in the pit lane instead of second, by the way. The little tip for you guys, if you go in first gear, you won't save fuel, but you'll save more ERS. Whereas if you go into the pits in second gear, you'll save more fuel, but you won't charge as much ERS. So I'm choosing first gear for this one. And we're going to hopefully get a bit of energy back on side, because I used quite a bit on those last couple of laps to keep the pace up. Onto the hard tyre. 2.5, good stop from the boys. They go the Mercedes cars. Both on soft tyres actually, so they're pushing quite a fair bit, the Mercedes. And they haven't really gained that much on me. And look at this. We're going to get a lovely little pocket of clean air just ahead of these 5 cars behind me, which is fantastic. So we can work in this. This little pocket of space is going to be great for us. And we're now going to see how the two stoppers get on. What would really ruin this strategy now, or ruin my race, would be a safety car. That could put me in big trouble. Oh, there's my first warning for track limits. Just going a bit too aggressive there with that curb. Took me 12 laps, so we should be okay unless I make another stupid mistake. I think we should be okay. There we go. Looks like some of the one-stoppers on mediums are pitting this lap. Let's see how many of them exactly. Looks like quite a few actually. About 5 or 6 cars, including Max Verstappen. Lando in there as well. And yeah, we're going to move up the P4. So just Stroll yet to pit. Stroll should be pitting this lap, as has Lewis Hamilton as well. Now the Mercs must go for medium. If they go for hard, they're completely throwing away the race. Let's see though what tyre Hamilton goes for. He goes for the hard tyre, so Mercedes going for a mystifying strategy again. I wonder if Bottas will follow. If he does, then that's going to be match point for us. And again, just a much more logical and straightforward strategy. And there it is, Bottas in the pit lane. And that is going to give us the race lead. Albon pits as well. There we go. So we're going to have a nice healthy lead, nice healthy gap to, I believe, Bottas, who should be net P2. Well, to be fair, Norris could be in with the shout. Let's see who exactly is P2. But Mercedes have definitely done a weird race by stopping and having to like stop early on the soft tyres like they did. They put themselves in traffic and they completely ruined the advantage of their fresh softs in their second stint of the race. So yeah, Gasly P2 right now, so he's managed to leapfrog both Mercedes cars, and he's on mediums as well, and Bottas P4 behind Lando Norris. Okay, but Bottas has gone for the medium though, so that's worth noting. Russell P5 with his car issues as well, so good job from George. Okay, Russell pits, so
George is in the pits. George in the pits.
looks like he had one more stop to do, so that P5 wasn't legit. But looks like Lando's P2 is legit, so Lando Norris running in P2, Gasly also had to pit as well, so looks like they were just running a bit longer. So Bottas P3, Lando ahead of him for now, but looks like he's about to lose it. And then Hamilton, to be fair, another 5 seconds back. I don't know if Lewis will catch Lando, but Bottas so far in mediums hasn't really set the world on fire yet. So I think we're going to be okay with 10 laps to go. Starting to get quite confident now as we're almost matching the personal best times. Fuel's burning off, cars getting faster. Bottas though, to be fair, is picking up his pace now. He's gained over a second and a half. He's starting to really run me in now. Now he's cleared Lando. I still think we're going to be okay, but we'll see what kind of pace Bottas can maintain for the rest of the race. Oh, a bit wide there. It's pushing a bit too much. Starting to struggle on tyres just a little bit now. Obviously, out of everyone in the top 10, I'm going to be on the oldest tyres because I picked the earliest for the one stop. So that is going to be another factor. Bottas is rapidly closing in, especially in the last sector. He gains about half a second to 6/10 that they're alone. Oh,
Some information on Verstappen.
Oh boy.
Looks like the problem is terminal. They're retiring the car.
This is a mixed one. Verstappen's out of the race, which is big for the championship. You know, he's one of the heavy hitters in the Ferrari. But this safety car is exactly what I didn't want. I thought I was safe. I thought I was out of the woods. But this safety car is going to be such a challenge now. As I just mentioned, I'm on the oldest tyres. So it's going to be a tough one, this one, to manage to pull this off. I can see an Alpine who's actually, I think, retired as well, or spun out of turn 2. We'll get confirmation of that shortly, but yeah, this safety car is not good for me, not good timing at all. I think we're going to be in big trouble on this restart, especially with the AI. They run at full power on the restart. They're going to have so much more traction than me, and I think Bottas could be a real threat.
Pitting this lap then. Come into the pits at the end of this lap.
I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for a very, very last minute decision here. I'm going to go for a set of softs. I've got a fresh set available to me. Looking at the gaps, I should be able to rejoin P2. So I'm gonna chance it here and gamble this. Worst ways I'll be P3 or P4, but we can fight back on the soft tyres. It gives me a chance. I don't feel confident holding Bottas behind me, so we may as well go for this. Yeah, that's definitely worth it. Right, let's see where we rejoin now. There goes Hamilton and there goes Lando. We should be behind Lando if all goes well. Yes, we are. So we're P4, but we've got fresh soft tyres on the car now. So this is massive. This is huge. We can still win the race and we can still get the fastest lap on these. Let's save a bit of fuel and let's get ready for this restart. Suddenly now the race has come alive. Well, here we are. The restart about to get underway. We're going to have 3 laps to get past 3 cars. I think Bottas could still win this. The fact I've got to get past Lando and Hamilton first. He's still got relatively fresh mediums at 11 laps old. So, oh no, oh my god, the timing on that, oh my goodness me. The timing on that was terrible. We managed to get away one there, but that was, oh boy. Right, well we've just made it slightly harder for ourselves. Okay, let's get Kvyat out first then, and allow for the pass. Literally, I just put a bit of throttle on, and as I literally did that, I just regained full car control. The timing on that was unbelievable. Right, let's get Kvyat here first and foremost. Be careful to not cut or extend here. I've got so much grip on these tyres, it's going to be so easy to accidentally cut because I'm just too fast. I've got too much grip, so I want to be careful. Right, let's floor it. Let's get Kvyat here straight away. If we've got to drain the battery, we'll drain the battery. That's what we'll do. You can see we're struggling to make a difference against the AlphaTauri on the straight. Wow. Okay, never mind. I thought that'd be a little bit easier, but never mind. We'll set up a big cut back through here though. This time, this should be better. There we go. That's more like it. The AI also don't use as much ERS on this straight compared to the previous one. So we take the inside line and we're through, but Mercedes are bolting big time here. Let's try and get Lando. We still win this, but the moves have got to be quick and clean. Oh yes, look at the momentum there. We get a huge, huge run on Lando. We're going to try and get on the inside. Oh, not quite. The Lando puts up a good fight, but now we're just going to breeze past around the outside and make the move. P3. Just the Mercs remaining. We get a warning for track limits there again. Just too much grip. I just turned in and the car just gripped up so much. Hamilton's really going for this, by the way. He's so fast in this restart. But let's see. A lap to go. We've got to try and make up 2.3 seconds. The Mercs are really fast still. I'm struggling to get this gap down. We're going to set a new fastest lap, but only by 2/10. The Mercedes, of course, are running full power. When they're at full power, they are extremely hard to beat. I don't think I'm close enough to get DRS. I need to nail this section right here to get anywhere near DRS range without getting another warning. Otherwise, that would give me a penalty. So, tense moment here in this race. But we've done it. We've managed to get within DRS range of Hamilton. My question is, can we really make a difference here? The Mercedes at full power. Look how Hamilton's dropping me on the straight. He's so fast. I just lose like 2/10 on the straight. Trying to close the gap here, but I just don't know if we've got enough. Hamilton's right underneath Bottas, who is probably starting to struggle on tyres. I'm getting close, but I think I'm just not close enough here. They're both out of the RS range, or deployment, shall I say. Through the final corner. I thought about the lunge. Oh, I messed up that final corner so badly. If I could have nailed that, I could have actually had a chance with some ERS deployment, because the Mercs are out. But it's going to be P3 and a fastest lap for us here today. Bit of a shame, really.
Another superb French Grand Prix comes to an end, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
Well, that's going to be it for the French Grand Prix, and in the end, a race which doesn't really change much in the championship, so that's a good thing for me because, of course, as you guys know, we're leading the way. We've got a nice healthy gap to second place, so these results really are just a good thing for us. So Bottas wins, Hamilton second, we finish third with a fastest lap, so we only lose 2 points to Hamilton, which is great. Lando P4, Kvyat P5 ahead of Ricciardo, De Vries in the points ahead of Albon, Ocon and Stroll, who rounds out the top 10. Missing out on the points, Gasly. Quite surprising, actually, quite a disappointing race from Pierre. Perez, Russell P13 with his car issues, Leclerc, Sainz, Magnussen, Grosjean, Matsushita, Giovinazzi, and Verstappen, who retired from the race here today. Standings wise, we are still top, 43 points clear from Bottas, who takes second place away from his teammate, and 45 clear of Hamilton. Looks like a three-way fight for the championship this year already, but it's pretty close behind. If you look at Gasly, Ricciardo, Albon, Russell, De Vries, and Kvyat, it's all really close there. Verstappen P11 in the championship, and Leclerc P13. Ferrari disappointing so far. Elsewhere, we're second now. Mercedes do re-overtake us with that 1-2 finish, so we're 2 points behind the Mercedes team, and hopefully we'll try and get that one back. But anyway, that's it for the race. Overall, I can't complain. Doomed if I do, doomed if I didn't. You know, I think that safety car, I knew it was going to mess me up, because you saw the pace of the Mercedes at the end. They would have passed me anyway. I think I didn't have that kind of pace to respond, and then that mistake on the restart cost me. So yeah, my bad today. I'll take my L and move. But anyway, back to the upgrades we go. Let's jump into it. Well, after the race, we pick up some driver acclaim. We did officially lose the rivalry to Lewis Hamilton, and our new rival now is going to be Valtteri Bottas. Now, before we jump into the next race at Austria, in which we have the upgrade on the way for the front nose cone structure, we do have a failed upgrade we need to take care of for the durability. It is for the ICE, so we're going to go ahead and repurchase that one. Hopefully no issues on that. And also I'm going to go ahead and purchase a control electronics level 2, because that's one of those components that we need to last until the end of the season ideally. So I'm going to get the level 2 on that to improve it. So durability upgrades on the way, but crucially that major chassis one is on the way. So let's see if it arrives before the next race in Austria. Well, it's good news. She's on the car, the upgrade has arrived, and that makes us the best team in the chassis department. So a pretty historic moment, actually. The first time we've managed to reach the top of the tree in the chassis, so really happy with that one. And yeah, the upgrade is going to make a big difference in terms of making the car more competitive. We're now going to work towards this upgrade here for the weight redistribution, and that will give us a big step forward again. But we need nearly 2,500 points for that upgrade, so we're going to have to save a few points up before we start doing that. We've also unlocked aerodynamics level 3, so we have these two upgrades available to us now as well. So the team brought a level 3 fabrication upgrade, which is great. So right now we can pretty much max out the car in terms of outright performance and see where we get. So I'm very excited. But the next race is going to be Austria, guys, round 7, as we close in on the halfway stage of the season. If you guys enjoyed today's episode, leave a like, subscribe for more. Let's try and hit over 1,000 likes, and we recently hit 61k and we're on the way to 70,000 now, guys. So let's hop on that bandwagon bargain. As always, a big shout out to the members of the channel for supporting the content, and finally check out the 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them, guys. But that is it from me, and I'll see you all next time. Until then, take care, and let's goodbye from me.